Hi, this is your host, and today we're gonna be answering the question, how did Titanic sink? The Titanic was an extremely well-built ship that had very few problems throughout its 2 years of service. But during its fateful voyage from Southampton to New York, it struck an iceberg and began to sink. So in this video, we're gonna explain how such a well-built ship could sink so quickly, why the crew didn't see the iceberg sooner, and what could have been done to prevent this tragedy. On April 14, 1911, the Titanic left Southampton, England for its maiden voyage to New York City. On board were 2,224 people, including crew members. For the first few days of the journey, everything was going well. The weather was calm and there was little wind, which made for a smooth ride across the ocean. The passengers enjoyed the many amenities on board, such as the swimming pool, gymnasium, and dining saloons. There was also live music, which helped create a fun atmosphere. However, on the night of April 14th, the captain noticed that the weather had changed and there were reports of icebergs in the area. Despite this, he decided to continue on to New York. At around 11:40 p.m., a lookout spotted an iceberg directly in their path. The crew began sounding the alarm, but it was too late. The Titanic had already struck the iceberg on its starboard side, which opened up a series of holes below the waterline. The ship began to take on water, but the crew tried to keep this under control. However, the pumps couldn't keep up with the flooding, and the ship began to sink. Lifeboats were launched, and the crew helped passengers into the lifeboats. Unfortunately, there weren't enough lifeboats for everyone, and many people were left stranded on the sinking ship. Some people were able to escape on life rafts or by jumping onto life buoys that were thrown in by the crew. However, most people perished as the Titanic sank in less than 3 hours. One of the reasons that the Titanic sank so quickly was because it had a series of holes below the waterline. This meant that the ship was taking on water faster than the pumps could remove it. Additionally, the ship was designed to stay afloat, even if it had a hole in its hull, but the damage was too extensive in this case. Another reason for the rapid sinking was the lack of lifeboats. Although there were some lifeboats available, they were not enough for everyone on board the Titanic. This meant that many people were left stranded on the sinking ship with no way to escape. Additionally, the lifeboats that were available were not close enough to the Titanic when it began to sink. This meant that many people who could have been saved were left to die as the lifeboats arrived too late. One of the main reasons for the sinking of the Titanic was the collision with the iceberg. This could have been avoided if the lookout had spotted the iceberg sooner. However, there were several factors that contributed to the late sighting. One of these was the lack of lights on the ship. Although the Titanic had some lights on board, they were not bright enough to illuminate the entire area around the ship. This meant that the crew had a limited field of vision and were more likely to miss an iceberg in the dark. Additionally, the crew may have become complacent due to the calm seas and clear skies in the days leading up to the accident. This complacency may have caused them to be less vigilant when scanning for icebergs. Another factor that contributed to the sinking of the Titanic was the speed of the ship. Although the Titanic was designed to be a fast ship, it was moving too quickly for the conditions at the time. If the ship had been traveling at a slower speed, it may have been able to avoid the collision altogether, or the collision would have caused less damage to the ship. In conclusion, the sinking of the Titanic was a tragedy that could have been avoided if several different things had gone differently. From the lookout spotting the iceberg sooner to the ship traveling at a slower speed, there were several factors that contributed to the sinking of this once great ship. Remember, this is just one of many stories of the many ships that have sunk throughout history. And if you want to learn more about maritime disasters, stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for watching.